Welcome to all those who've joined us for our monthly webinar. As you'll see from our title slide here, if you look down in the bottom right corner, today is October 31st, 2024. And although you may be watching this at another time, for us right now, there's kind of two holidays depending upon which part of our team you're on. For those of us that are here in the United States, we're celebrating Halloween, and I'm dressed up today as a Jedi. For a good portion of our team that's based in India, today is the day that they're celebrating Diwali. So welcome to all who have joined us today. We might have some guest trick-or-treaters in my office today as our webinar goes on. We'll see. So our topic today is From Data to Dollars, creating business cases for unleashing AI-driven growth in the pest control businesses. So we'll start off, do a quick introductions. If you haven't been on one of our webinars before, my name is Brandon Savage. I'm the head of solution enablement. I have been with Vosik for over 6 years and spent 2 decades as a customer experience and operations leader in recurring revenue, subscription-based businesses. Primarily for me, I started my career in the electronic security industry, so kind of the ADTs of the world, and have been happy to be able to piggyback on artificial intelligence and machine learning while being here at Vosik. I'll turn the time over to Vasu and then Doug.
Yeah, thank you, Brandon. Wonderful costumes. Two celebrations on the same day. And also, we were coming from Pest World with a lot of fresh ideas. So the team is in high spirits and super happy to talk with all of you to share our observations and how the solution is aligned with enabling growth for pest control businesses. My name is Vasu Akula, and I'm one of the co-founders and also lead the data science team. We have built several predictive models, and we have been operationalizing these things for subscription businesses for the last 10 years through Vosik AI. And I myself bring about 25 years of data-driven solutions and how we have been helping businesses to grow using advanced analytics and AI more recently. So we will dive into all of those. Doug?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Doug Shapiro. I'm the Chief Sales Officer. I have over 35 years of customer retention management experience helping organizations like yours drive high-value business cases that ultimately help with customer growth, retention, and price increases that ultimately drive more revenue for your organization. We're excited about the results of our engagement at Pest World and share with you our vision and strategy for the pest industry.
So just as Vasu and Doug had mentioned, we've just recently returned from Pest World and had an amazing experience there. We had the opportunity to have some meaningful conversations with quite a few companies, both some of our existing partners and new potential partners. And so I kind of went through the list of some of the ones we had the best experiences with. We talked to Aptiv, we talked to ABC Home, we talked to Fox Pest, which is part of Rollins. We talked to Greenix, we talked to Hawks, we talked to Moxie. Do you guys want to say hi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
Got a few more visitors here.
All right.
Just a live webinar.
with real guests. Awesome.
I don't even know if I can even get that. Let's see. A balloon dog. Okay.
Oh, that's very
Holy
clever.
cow.
Wait, is that a pest? Is that a pest?
Thank you.
We talked to Plunkets, we talked to Certus, we talked to Sprague. And there's definitely a key theme that we're seeing as we're talking to companies, and particularly as we are also having the chance to sit in some of the sessions and educational sessions in Pest World as well. We're seeing that a lot of companies are going through significant transition. They're looking to focus on how can we better obsess over our customers to be able to stay competitive and to be able to drive growth instead of just masking attrition through continuing to pour money into the sales engine, which can be sometimes expensive. And then a theme that we saw throughout the conference was how can we use artificial intelligence to be able to help drive transformational change and to substantially grow the enterprise value of our business. One of my favorite sessions we went to was given by Jessica Felon from Vault Communications, who did an hour deep dive on how you can use generative AI just as an individual and from a marketing perspective within your businesses. And if anyone went to that session and didn't walk away just thinking, oh my gosh, this is amazing, the stuff that can be done. And you're trying to think, how can I take this technology and harness this power to go even beyond marketing, but to be able to look at all the facets of your business, and particularly some of those levers that can greatly impact your customer valuation, enterprise valuation. And that's what we do. And that's what we're going to cover today. We see the same thing as we talk to our existing partners. And if you look through the PMP State of the Industry in 2024, the common themes that were mentioned in there also align with this underlying message that, how can we continue to see growth within our companies? How can we do that while trying to manage the costs that are happening in today's environment? And as you look at the opportunities that existed for 2024 and that we anticipate will exist for 2025, how can we increase referrals? How can we increase repeat business? How can we improve customer retention? And how can we upsell services and use artificial intelligence in order to help leverage those tasks? You're going to enjoy the rest of this webinar. So what you're going to see today is some examples and a demo of how our solution helps companies in all three phases, both at the beginning of the funnel. How can you get good customers and do so while reducing your acquisition cost? How can you keep your existing customers and increase their lifetime so that once you've already spent the money to get them, you're going to have them for longer and increase that customer lifetime value? And then looking of those existing customers, not only can you keep them longer, but how can you increase the wallet share that you're getting from that customer in terms of, are we charging the right price? AI can be really helpful to tell you whether or not, hey, you could actually charge this customer more. They're happy, they're experiencing value. Or are there other services that you can potentially offer to them that the AI is going to say they're likely to accept? So with laying that as a foundation, I'm going to turn the time over to Vasu.
Hey, Brandon, for some reason, my screen is misbehaving. So if you don't mind, if you can please continue to share the slides. And when it is time for the demo, I will share my screen. Awesome. Yeah. So let's continue, right? So what I'm going to be spending the next few minutes, there are two parts, right? I'll take 5 minutes each for each part. The first part is, first I want to highlight, what is the right way to measure the growth, right? We have seen several ways in which some of our customers are, before, we got involved, starting to measure and communicate the value. But we felt like, maybe many of these things are underestimating the value. And the reason for that is, we have seen, by choosing the wrong ROI metric, sometimes we are under-investing in these things. We are not able to rally the rest of the teams to work on the biggest business case. But yet, every single person, especially when you are, at Pest World, for example, we were at the M&A session, a lot of CEOs and CFOs were there. And the discussion doesn't end. Every fifth sentence is ending with, retention, because retention translates into high lifetime value. High lifetime value translates into higher valuation for the company and these types of things, right? So loved it. And I wanted to emphasize, sometimes like when we measure retention value, businesses can underestimate by saying, oh, if we can reduce the retention for let's say 100,000 customers by 2 percentage points, I'm saving 2,000 customers times $600. It might be, one way to measure, but that's underestimating. Or sometimes we have seen what is the cost of replacing these 2,000 customers through sales. That's another way of underestimating, or many other ways, right? So if we go to the next slide, Brandon, what we recommend always using the right way for all these growth use cases, whether we're talking about how to acquire customers at a lower cost, or what is the real value of a couple of dollars of price increase, or a couple of percentage points of attrition reduction, is using discounted cash flow calculation to understand the lifetime value and then impacting that lifetime value. So there are a lot of numbers here. I'm going to quickly go through this one. My objective here is to emphasize the importance of discounted lifetime cash flow calculation, and also not complicating lifetime value calculation by bringing into all kinds of, what is the cost of acquisition, this channel, that channel, direct channel, indirect channel. What matters for most of these companies when we talk about existing customers and the value of those customers is, from here, what is the value of these customers in future? You can call that remaining lifetime value, or you can call that future lifetime value of existing customers. Whatever expense we had to incur has already happened. So what is the value of our customer base now? That drives it keeps the metric simple and also allows us to make very, very informed decisions. So what we have on the screen is how we are calculating this thing. On the first row, we are saying net revenue, not just revenue, is a revenue minus cost, right? And lifetime is 1 divided by attrition times 12. We'll go into specific details there. And then the other important calculation is monthly discount rate that we want to use. So in the middle, I have an example of a annual revenue of a customer at $600 on the back screen. Yeah, same. Yeah. And cost to serve, let's just assume 30%. And attrition rate, let's just say we are losing 1 out of every 5th customer. Your attrition might be higher or lower, but we'll use this as the example. And discounted cash discount rate is 7.5, right? So in this case, row E is saying our monthly revenue is $50, right? And our monthly cost to serve is $15. So the net revenue, don't compute the revenue. We want to make sure that, we want to use the net revenue, $35. But immediately, if 20% is the attrition, lifetime is just 1 divided by 20%, which will be 5 years or 60 months, right? So the straightforward calculation is net revenue times 60 months. That might give us $2,100 as the value of the customer, or the net value of the customer. But actually, that's overestimating because future value of $1,000 is less than 1,000 today. So when we apply that discounted cash flow calculation, we will now correctly end up with $1,700 as the right value of each of your existing customers, right? In this case. So now let's look at some scenarios. If we go to the next slide. Now here, what we are talking is, let's say the business has 100,000 customers, and the baseline attrition is 20%, and let's say we are improving that to 18%, right? In this case, what we are doing, using the same cash flow calculation and simply replacing 20% with 18%, the 60-month lifetime is going to now increase to 66.7. So you have technically 6.5 months of additional revenue. But the right way to estimate this is, by the way, that is going to happen to this year and next year and next year. So the right way to estimate is put all those numbers back into discounted cash flow calculation, and that calculation will arrive at $15 million. That itself is a phenomenal number for us to rally our chief operating officer, chief finance officer, marketing leaders, field leaders, call center leaders, to make sure that we invest the right way, time and resources, and make sure that these high-value projects are executed with all-in effort. There are several incorrect ways of calculating 2% attrition reduction is equal to 2,000 customers saved. Bullet point 2 might arrive at incorrectly 800K instead of 15 million. That's a night and day difference. Or another way is lifetime revenue just from these 2,000 customers might be 3.5 million. But what about the customers we are going to be saving with all these improvements next year and next year, right? That's why we recommend using discounted cash flow calculation and just use the new attrition, right? So this is the right way to estimate. I'm trying to emphasize and overemphasize why discounted cash flow calculation is important here. If we go to the next slide, Brandon, I will just use a different example from the use cases Brandon mentioned. Here, we are increasing on the right side table, $50 of monthly revenue. Let's say that goes to $52. Again, lifetime stays exactly the same way. Many companies, when they randomly increase the prices, they might trigger attrition. So in random cases, that lifetime might actually go down. But our AI-driven solution can recommend which customers can absorb this couple of dollars of price increase without triggering a lot of attrition. So we are super confident that our AI will secure that price increase without triggering attrition. Now, when we plug in these numbers into discounted cash flow calculation, we are going to see about $9.9 million or nearly $10 million of lifetime value increase. There are several incorrect ways of doing this calculation, but hopefully I made the point that the right way to measure growth is always going to be, this is how banks are going to measure your enterprise value. PE firms and investors and acquisition potentials might evaluate this thing. So it's better to just infuse this type of number into your operations. Now, one might ask, okay, let's talk about if the value is this much, right? How do we make this happen? How do we get AI into day-to-day operations? So for that, I'm going to share my screen and walk you through how we do that with our AI. Right? Brandon or Doug, can you see my screen?
We can, and this is our live software here.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So what I have once we log into Wazik is, there are a bunch of menus, but I want to go straight into the discussion topic here. We actually see each of your home that you're servicing as the customer and actually mine all the home attributes and neighborhood attributes, and then attach your specific service attributes, right? Your contracts and plans and how did you acquire them and all of that. So when we look at this first customer, right, what this system is saying through our predictive analytics, this home is likely to attrit at 80% unless we do something proactively. They're not saying I want to cancel yet, but the system is predicting exactly like a weather prediction. Hey, the hurricane is coming. It has all kinds of attributes that are going in to predict that hurricane accurately. Here we are predicting there is for homes like these, based on all the attributes, we predict 80% attrition in the next 1 year. And it is also assigning, using that same discounted cash flow calculation that I mentioned, the remaining value of these customers like this. In this case, this particular home is only $300, right? Now let's switch to the next customer, right? Here, the attrition is predicted to be 23%, much better than 80%. And the lifetime value that is remaining here is more than $1,000. Now, how this is arriving at these calculations is, we are showing 6 of these attributes here. We call them health indicators, but there are many more attributes behind the scenes. In this case, the system is correctly picking up, oh, this particular home is out of contract. They happen to be paying a little higher than average price, and the neighbors might be talking with each other, and it's just a matter of time before a competition says, how much are you paying? And I'll give the same service for lesser price, right? The system knows that, and it predicts, uses all those attributes, right? And this home happens to be in a high attrition neighborhood, right? Not every area in the country for your business may have same competition. So this actually knows, based on historical cancel reasons and all of this, where are you losing customers because of financial reasons, because of competition activity, and even because of move activity, which is different from different parts of the country, right? So we have all of those data sources for us to mine and correctly assign an 80% attrition prediction here and a $300 value and something else and something else. But the nice thing now is this customer is not yet saying, I want to cancel. Now, how our system turns this seemingly low value into higher value is now when we get in touch with this customer, whether we proactively call them or they contact us or we go into their home to do a service, now we know, and this intelligence is available through APIs. You can integrate that into many, many different areas, or you can simply use the browser-based system that you are seeing here. So it first gives the context. This is a high-risk customer. It shows the home image and all these things, kind of very simple for a call center agent when they're talking with this particular customer. And one of my favorite parts is, how it actually picks up these Pest, for us to resell the value proposition one more time to the customer. Thank you for being a loyal customer. We see activities with mosquitoes and rodents in your particular area because it is picking up all these things from your CRM systems. What is it that your customers are calling and complaining about? It actually mines all of that data and converts that into a word cloud, which will look completely different when you're talking with a Florida customer compared to, let's say, a California customer, right? The pests are all different. So it will give you precise language. So your call center agents, when they talk with your customers, they can personalize these conversations. Now, it also shows these good attributes and not so good attributes. Like an inside service is done, in some cases, it may not be done for too long, and that can work against us, right? So it gives all of these as personalized talking points. But what I wanted to emphasize here is, let's say we are talking with this customer. Now, we not only have the prediction, but also prescription. What should we do to this particular customer to turn that $300 lifetime value into, let's say, $1,000 or $1,500 lifetime value, right? In this case, it is recommending these offers, lock the current price with 12-month renewal, as they take these calls, right? Let's say we make that offer in a call center and the customer is rejecting, that's not good enough. I would rather look for lower cost options or things like that. But the system knows that this particular customer is actually paying $20 above the average, and it can also recommend that type of offer, making sure that it is in line with your business rules and things like that. And let's say in this case, the customer has accepted. Now, agents will mark this as it's renewed, the cancellation risk goes down, and you go on with the next call and next call and next call, right? So this is how we come out with discounted cash flow calculation for every single customer using the predicted attrition of that particular customer, not just the cohort of all the customers that were acquired in 2015, 2020, 2023. Our system is able to assign individual scores and individual lifetime values and individual prescriptions on what is it that we need to do to increase that lifetime value calculated using that discounted cash flow calculation I mentioned, right? Now, when you do this repeatedly using all your engagements, inbound engagements, email engagements, web engagements, mobile app engagements, or field service engagements, we're able to deliver extremely high value. I'll share with you some use cases and examples about how we are able to deliver tens of millions of dollars of value to our customers. But before I do that, I wanted to zoom out a little bit and show the big picture, right? Because this webinar is more about calculating the business case, and I wanted to show how our solution automatically calculates all these things and highlights these opportunities for C-level leaders. In this case, we are using an example of, let's say, 100,000 customers with average ARPU of $600, right? And let's say we are predicting risk for each of them, and instead of 50% average attrition that you might see, we know that if you are dealing with a 50% attrition, more than likely there is far higher attrition customers and far lower attrition customers. So it scores your customers and identifies, let's say, 1/3 of your customers from this 100,000 as high risk with predicted attrition of 76%, and another 1/3 or 35,000 customers with very low attrition compared to 50%, this is only 22%, right? What is even more interesting is it also uses the ARPU. What this is saying is, hey, by the way, at 100,000 customers at $600 of value, 50% attrition, that might translate to $30 million of attrition if you don't do something. But what this system is saying, just from this 1/3 high-risk customers, we are predicting 17 millions of attrition loss, right? And from the equal 1/3 low-risk customers, we're only predicting $4 million, right? So 17 million, significantly higher compared to 4 million. So this is where, it gives you clarity on where do we invest our time, which customers do we want to, kind of put more attention, proactively call them, maybe even proactively send emails, or maybe route optimize in a way that our technicians maybe door knock and leave a value proposition statement and say hello to the kids, whatever it takes, right? To make sure that your high-risk customers see the value before it is too late, before they switch to the competition, right? So that's how this thing works. Many visuals for us to identify this thing at a very, very granular level. Literally here, what we are saying is this 20 customers are predicted at 86% attrition. This 210 customers are predicted at 50% attrition. And this 400 or 520 customers at 19% attrition, right? So we can look at your customers a lot of different ways. And I'll say one last thing, because many of our customers appreciate, how nice it is to be able to see attrition characteristics at different branches, different service centers that you may have. And what we are saying here is, we have 10,000 customers in California with a predicted 45% attrition. If we just go to the neighboring state, immediately that 40% attrition, for whatever reason, it is picking up using neighborhoods and affordabilities and the types of customers and the methods of acquisition and the types of services we are delivering. Actually 10% higher, 55% attrition there, right? And it gets better as we zoom in. It can give you specific zip code level attributes. And my favorite view here is go all the way, because this is important for pest control businesses, because their technicians are going in specific routes from a 85% attrition customer to a 65% attrition customer to a 21% attrition customer to a 7% attrition customer. Unfortunately, they're not aware of it, and they're actually delivering exact same service. And our recommendation is, if we have all of this foresight, why don't we send our best technicians in these routes and make sure that they deliver that amazing service to them? Maybe even while they're at the home, provide these opportunities for customers to either get slightly different services or renew them, or ensure that they go inside the home and take care of whatever your customer needs are, right? So this completely operationalizes how your field operation puts AI into how your field operations work, and how your call center operations work, and how your marketing operations also work, right? And this is how, customer by customer, we focus on how do we improve the lifetime value. And when you do that tens of thousands of times, it's very easy to see how the lifetime value increases, and you deliver tens of millions of dollars in value. So Brandon, with that, I'm going to send it back to you. For some reason, I'm not able to share my screen, so I'll let you share your screen and we'll continue.
All right. So as we talk about how you as a company can get started, I'll turn it over to Doug.
All right, thank you. Here's how we get started working together. We're offering a 2-week, no-cost proof of value program using enterprise-grade AI software that you just saw from Vasu, aimed at a specific set of subscription economic use cases that we'll work with you to develop. Our 2-week bootcamp isn't about abstract learning or using pre-baked apps. Our bootcamps enable our customers like you to tackle their real-world subscription-based use cases and quickly see the results using your data. The bootcamp will empower thought leaders like you to drive the next level of subscription growth using a proven methodology fueled by Bossix AI that would be guided by an experienced team of senior solution experts, just like Vasu, just like Brandon. Very quickly, you'll discover the transformative power using Bossix AI with your data. Here's why the bootcamps have been so successful. This is just direct feedback that we get from our customers. Step 1, we start off with a maturity assessment whereby we evaluate your mission-critical applications that support your subscription business today. Step 2, we'll then develop the business case and ROI for an AI-led transformation. Step 3, it's a quick launch. Our team will consume and analyze your data. All we need is 6 to 8 customer-rich data attributes from our list of proven predictors, because we've been doing this for 12 years, that we load into our sandbox. Steps 4 and 5, when the project is approved, there's a seamless transition from a live sandbox to a scaled out production-ready solution. Bossix AI comes fully interoperable. It's ready. It's enterprise-grade software that will create transformational change for your organization. Here's why the bootcamp's a game changer. We go beyond the proof of value exercise by identifying opportunities and gaps by way of a white space analysis exercise. We perform a survival study and create a roadmap for success that all of us can collectively follow. The feedback that we get from our business champions is this: very straightforward. They have everything they need to leverage AI to drive transformational change in their organization. They tell us it's because the results of the boot camp produced a production-ready platform with business applications tailored for our unique use cases, with highly tuned models that are supported by an experienced consulting team that has become a set of trusted advisors over the course of the 2-week engagement. And to ensure your personal success and get buy-in from your organization, and we recognize that that's not an easy task these days. At the end of the engagement, we host a meeting and present an executive level readout of the results that outlines the top subscription growth opportunities. The executive readout includes a review of the business case, the ROI analysis, and implementation roadmap. So as we wrap up the webinar, I'd like to thank you for your time and interest. I have 2 offers to share with you today. The no-cost 2-week AI-enabled growth strategy bootcamp will provide you with the insight to your current customer retention programs, supporting processes, technology, and areas for subscription revenue improvement. And finally, for all the attendees on this webinar, we thank you for your time and interest. We're offering a 50% discount for the first year on our AI software and services to help you retain your most valuable asset, your customers, that all of you collectively have worked so hard to acquire. So we want to thank you for your time today. And don't let customer attrition be an uncontrollable pest in your business.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us today. As I was trying to think how I could kind of wrap this up, I saw on my desk a little packet that we had given to one of our customers a couple weeks ago. We operate across multiple different industries, and we have companies that are in industries that may have 12% attrition. We have customers that are in companies and industries where they have over 50% attrition in a year. And I ripped out a page and kind of tore off any identifying information. I just want to show what this can look like. So this is a company that 2 years ago, their attrition was starting to creep up, and it continued to creep up in last year. And we started working with this company at the beginning of this year, and you can see they were reaching pretty high attrition. And from the time that we started implementing this solution, that attrition peaked and started coming back down. And within, let's say about from February to the end of last month, they have seen, well, I'll even say March till last month, they have seen a 600 basis point reduction in their attrition. That's 10% in 6 months. Now, I can't promise you're going to see that fast, but if your attrition is that high, we can absolutely make an immediate difference. And I think Vasu, as we've had more talks about this internally, as we've looked at different industries, he feels really confident that a 10% reduction in whatever your attrition is something that is absolutely achievable within the first 12 months. If you're working with us and we're executing our plan and our playbook, you'll see results. And that reduction in attrition for any company, you know the math, you know the metrics of your company. 10% reduction in attrition is worth a lot and has a dramatic impact upon your enterprise valuation. So reach out, let's talk. We'd love to see how this solution can apply to your business. And in 2 weeks, we can go through the boot camp and show you with your data those results. So feel free to reach out from our website or through our email address here, info@vosig.ai, or reach out to any of us on LinkedIn. We'd be happy to connect with you. We'll look forward to that. And in parting, hope you have a wonderful time wherever you're at. If you happen to be watching this still here on Halloween Day or at Diwali, we hope you enjoy the rest of your holiday. Thanks for joining us.